Week 3 is here, and the Baltimore Ravens look to move to 3-0 for the first time in the Lamar Jackson era, and for the first time in 7 years, Ravens, Colts. It's gonna be an ugly day down at the bank weather-wise, but it'll be pretty nonetheless if the Ravens can prove to 3-0. I got your preview, prediction, keys to the game, injury report, and so much more here on the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you sports how you want when you need it. Go ahead, hit stick that subscribe button. Go ahead and like the video, and go ahead and let me know in the comment section your prediction and keys to the game. Let's get to it here on the Flex Zone Podcast, right here. What's up, Ravens Nation? What's going on, Flock? Flex Zone Podcast back again, God's favorite host, giving you sports how you want it when you need it. Another Ravens preview as it is week 3. Ravens 2-0, big time win last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. We broke it down. I was incorrect, thankfully, because the Ravens did win when I predicted them to lose, improved to 2-0, and it looks like the Ravens have a chance over the next few weeks to really separate themselves from the pack in the AFC North. We'll get to that after this game against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, looking at this game, coming into it on Sunday down at the bank, if you're going to the game, have fun, dress for the weather. Looks like it's going to be an ugly one. Maybe similar to that game in 2019 between the Ravens and 49ers, where it was very wet, windy, cold, not ideal conditions for football, even though the game was of the higher scoring variety, was not ideal for weather. So we could see something similar with that. We know about the tropical storm conditions and the high winds and rain. So that's something to keep an eye on if you're going to the game, something to keep an eye on with the game. A lot of times this gives the advantage to the offense because of they know where they're going. The defense does not. So if it is slick weather conditions, you're not able to get your footing or traction, it can really benefit the offense, which I can hope it does for the Ravens. Um, the Ravens should win this game. They're 8-point favorite. They should really dominate this game. We've seen the injury report with the Colts. No Anthony Richardson this week. It will be Gardner Minshew starting, and a lot of people are saying Gardner Minshew may be more dangerous than Anthony Richardson. And I can agree and disagree with that argument because Minshew is a guy who is streaky. He can get really hot, make some throws, and make some plays as we've seen in Jacksonville and Philly. And he can get really cold and make some throws that are going to the other team, which in this case would benefit the Ravens. Anthony Richardson, I was not high on him coming out of the draft. I thought he was more of a project. Reminded a lot of people of Cam Newton with the size, the athleticism, the arm strength. He's completing a good percentage of his passes, but they're doing a lot of dinking and dunking. And obviously, right now, his best asset is his legs. And I think in the slick weather, as I mentioned, with the offense having the advantage, having Anthony Richardson being able to make plays with his legs, that would be something that would really kind of concern me with the Ravens, even though we do great against rookie quarterbacks. And I think the Colts are just goofy all around for not utilizing Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor in a heavy run offense with some read option, with some zone scheme concepts to put the ball in both of their hands as they're great playmakers running the football. Maybe that's something we could see going into the second half of the season because I don't think Jonathan Taylor's getting traded. But Minshew it is. And I'll take Minshew because he's the backup for a reason. But let's look at the injury report for the Ravens. We know Minshew's out. We know that the Colts could be missing some of their offensive linemen as well. And Ryan Kelly could be out. We know Quentin Nelson is great on the front. But the Ravens will be without Odell Beckham Jr. Didn't practice this week with the ankle injury. And if you heard the other Odell Beckham news with him possibly hanging out, getting to know Kim Kardashian, pray for us all. Justice Hill, that's a big one because he was the number one running back right now, and he brings that explosiveness, that speed, that quickness to the outside that this offense was using under Todd Monken. So no Justice Hill with a lingering injury because of the turf toe. Marlon Humphrey's still not back. He's not even practicing, so I think Marlon is probably at least another 2 or 3 weeks away. Ronnie Stanley didn't play last week, and no surprise he's not playing again, as well as Tyler Lindenbaum. I think they're both out for at least another 2 or 3 weeks. Adafe Owe, we saw him in a walking boot last week with an ankle injury. And Marcus Williams, who said he's not getting surgery. He's going to try to play through possibly a torn pec. We'll see how long he's out, 6, 8, 10 weeks. Who knows? But Ravens don't need most of these guys this game. Like I said, they're 8-point favorites. And when I get to my prediction, I do think they cover that spread if you're betting on the game, which I probably will. But let's get to the keys to the game. Offensively, we'll start there because the Ravens offense played fantastic yesterday. Lamar probably played one of his best games since 2019, one of his best games ever as a Raven, and he owns Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Offensively, I talked about the weather. Protect the football. Last week, I think the Ravens did a good job protecting the football. Lamar, the ball will be wet. He does a good job handling the football when it's wet. Protect the football. We don't need any unneeded, unforced errors, fumbles, interceptions. Protect the football. Number 2, ride the bus. Gus Edwards is RB1 right now and probably will be for the next few weeks. We'll probably see some Melvin Gordon. We may even see some Kenyon Drake, who's back with the Ravens. But ride the bus. Gus Edwards, we know he battled some injuries. We know he's really just getting back to his 2018, 2019 form. He has not had 20 carries since 2019. As I mentioned, there are a lot of factors that go into that, but let's ride the bus. Let's give Gus 20, 25 carries this game. Let's ride the bus. He did fantastic last week, broke a couple of big runs, and really wore down the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Let's use him to dominate in a game like this and really tire out this Colts defense. I would love to see him get 20 to 25 carries, and I think he could be a guy that could be one of the players of the game getting over 100 yards. Offensive line holdup. Mustaford, Simpson, Zeitler, Moses, Makari, you guys did a fantastic job last week, not allowing Lamar to take a lot of hits, keeping him upright. Let's continue to do that this week because you're playing a damn good defensive line with DeForest Buckner and the crew. And they're going to create some opportunities which could cause some pressure on Lamar. And as I mentioned, with the slick weather, the field probably not being ideal, the defensive line of the Colts could have something to say against this offensive line. I'm not going to lie. Attack the corners of the Colts. They play a lot of off zone coverage, the Colts do. And I think the Ravens can really create some opportunities. I'm looking for Rashad Bateman to have a big game. I'm looking for Zay Flowers to continue his strong rookie campaign. I'm looking for Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews to do their thing. I'm looking for a lot of yak yards from these receivers. Getting the ball quickly in space, making a guy miss, and off to the races. Lamar, be Lamarvelous. That's my last one. Let's see Lamar with over 200 yards passing and maybe 100 yards rushing. Let's see 300 total yards of Lamar this week. Let's see Lamar throw 2 or 3 through the air. Let's see him run for another touchdown. Let's see Lamar with over 300 yards of total offense. Lamar, be Lamarvelous and continue playing like the MVP we know you're capable of being. Obviously, right now, he's probably not at the top of a lot of people's list, but I think if he can continue to stack good performances and start strong, stay healthy, we'll see why he's Lamarvelous. Defensively, pressure Minshew, pressure the quarterback. Clowney, Ajabo, I'm talking to you. I would love to see the two of you combine for 3, 3.5, 4 sacks. Get some pressure on Minshew. Secondly, make Minshew hold the ball. We know Minshew wants to get rid of the ball quickly. Make him hold the football. Jam these wide receivers. They have a lot of big receivers. Be physical with them. Don't allow them to easily get in and out of their breaks. Make Minshew hold the football and allow that pass rush to get to him. Tackle well. As I mentioned, the weather is not going to be ideal. You got to tackle well. One false move, guys could be running for extra yardage off of poor fundamentals. So look for Roquan, Pat Queen, the back end guys of Brandon Stevens. We know our Darius Washington might be done for the season now, the defensive back. Let's tackle well, guys, and keep these big plays to a minimum. Set the edge well in the run game. We know it's no Anthony Richardson, no Jonathan Taylor. Don't give these guys, the Deion Jacksons of the world and their other backups, hope. Clowney, Ajabo, Jones, Matabike, guys, hold up well in the run. Set the edge well. And last but not least, defensive line dominate their offensive line. I mentioned their offensive line has some injuries, and I don't think they were playing that great beforehand. Dominate them. Be more physical as you were last week against the Bengals. Outplay their offensive line. Travis Jones, Matabike's having a good year. Washington, Urban. Let's see you guys do what you do. Dominate this game and take advantage of the offensive line. Special teams last week, Tucker, you did miss a 59-yard field goal. I'm not going to stress about it. This week, the weather isn't going to be ideal, so it could be tougher conditions to kick. Make the field goals that we have the opportunities to make. And last but not least, no big returns on special teams because last week, if the Bengals didn't get that punt return, the Ravens are probably up double digits at halftime, and they're running away with this game. Now, I would love to see what's going to happen with the coverage. We got to get good special teams coverage. No big returns, no touchdowns on returns. Don't give this team hope or momentum. And I also want to see who, without Justice Hill, is going to create that spark in the return game as well on special teams. We know we have Duvernay, but can we get possibly another guy at returner, at punt returner, to create a spark for us? So again, offensively, protect the football, ride Gus Bus, give them 20 plus carries. Offensive line, hold up, attack their corners. Lamar be marvelous. Defensively, pressure the quarterback, make Minshew hold the ball, tackle well, set the edge well in the run. Defensive line dominate the offensive line. Make your field goals and special teams, no big returns, and find a spark in the return game. As far as my prediction, I am going with the Baltimore Ravens to cover that 8-point spread with a 27-17 win. 10 points, Ravens by 10. Ravens 27, Colts 17. I think Lamar and the offense continue playing well. They run the ball effectively. They get some big plays in the passing game and maybe even force a few turnovers on defense. Maybe an interception. Geno Stone played well last week. Maybe force a fumble. Get a defensive touchdown. That wouldn't hurt. And they're going to do what they do best. So give me the Ravens 27, Colts 17. Ravens will improve to 3-0 for the first time in the Lamar Jackson era and for the first time in 7 years. But guys, I want to hear from you, Ravens Nation. I want to hear from you, Flex on from you, Ravens Flock. You guys know we're here each and every week with the previews. And of course, after the Ravens game, we have the official Baltimore Ravens post-game show here on the channel. Myself, Roger, social media producer here at the Flex Zone, who will be on assignment. He'll be at the game on Sunday, bearing the conditions. Our Flex Zone day oneer, D from DieSport.net, breaking down the game as well, giving his report card and grades. And we'll go around the NFL for week 3 and all the big headlines. Again, I'm going with the Ravens to win 27-17. But look for the Baltimore Ravens post-game show. Hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button immediately after the game concludes. About an hour, hour and a half, we usually go live. Sound off in the comments. I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts on the game, X factors, keys to the game, predictions, anything we should be looking forward to. If you're going to the game, let me know how you're looking forward and how you're going to bear this weather. Stay safe, be careful, and holla at me. We'll be here Sunday for the Ravens post-game show, looking for a happy recap and the Ravens improving to 3-0. Again, I'm going with the Ravens this week after not picking them last week to win 27-17. After 3 games, I had them 2-1 in my predictions. They'll be 3-0 this season with a big game looming. 2 big games looming in the next 2 weeks. Divisional contest on the road. But that's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you here on the Flex Zone Podcast. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Hit the like button. Hit the bell. Sound off in those comments. We'll see you Sunday for the Baltimore Ravens postgame show.